Hello, everyone, and welcome to Ebuyer Live. My name is Kevin, and this is the place for you to get all the latest tips, tricks, deals, and updates. And today is absolutely no exception. As the title suggests, we're going to be talking about Cisco Meraki here today. So, as we all know, now more than ever, keeping yourself safe and secure online, it's a necessity, especially when it comes to business. And we're here today to talk about the brand new Cisco Meraki MK Enterprise Network Security Routers. And these have built in Sd-Wan capabilities that will help keep you and your colleagues safe. Now, did you understand a single word that I said? If not, that's absolutely fine because I'm in the same boat as well. But that's why we're all here today. We're going to get some insight and we're going to learn about a massively impressive product. So let's get ourselves strapped in, folks, and let's get going, shall we? Because today, through the magic of live stream, I'm joined by our expert and our guest, the wonderful Mr. Mike Peck is with us here today. Mike, how are you doing?
I'm great, thanks. Good morning, Kevin.
So, if people don't know who you are, tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, and what you do.
So I'm one of the solutions specialists here at Ebuyer, and I specialize in network infrastructure and security. So if there's any advice you need around any sort of networking or security products, I'm your man.
Okay, well, that's fantastic. Remember, folks, in the chat below, if you got any questions, queries, comments, anything you want to shout out, make sure you leave a comment in there and we'll address it as we go on through the show. You've got Mike here, obviously, who's an expert who can help with any and all queries. But what are we going to be discussing here today, Mike?
So we're discussing the MX range of Meraki security appliances, which are well positioned for SD-WAN and site-to-site connectivity, as well as security features that are built into the boxes.
Okay, fantastic. So we're going to be spending the next 30 minutes or so talking with Mike and sharing some amazing deals and some amazing insight. Remember, folks, if you're watching live or even if you're checking this out video on demand, we still want to hear from you. So you can get involved in the comments if you're listening here on LinkedIn Live, you're checking this out on Facebook, on Twitter, or on YouTube. Hit us a comment in the old chat there and we'll make sure we get out to you. And don't forget as well, sharing is caring. This stream is going out live, but even if it's on the on demand, send that link out to someone who you think might be interested, and you never know, you might help someone out with their security solutions. So let's have a little moment here, Mike, and tell us a little bit before we get going about Cisco. What is Cisco?
So Cisco was founded in 1984 by a husband and wife team that were from Stanford University, and they were largely attributed to creating the first internet router. And they expanded the company upon that, basically sat there adding into their portfolio, and they are now one of the market leaders, or the market leader, in network connectivity.
Okay, so that's Cisco as a whole then.
Yeah.
But we're talking obviously about Cisco Meraki. So could you maybe tease that out and explain it for us a little bit?
So Cisco Meraki was originally created in 2006 by some MIT students, and they were developing a wireless product that would work really well in the MIT campus because of its strange architecture. They always had difficulty getting wireless to work, so they developed their own system for that. The work that they did was obviously that successful, being fully cloud managed and all self-contained. Cisco liked their work and they acquired them in 2012.
Okay, and so tell me then, who are your target then with Cisco Meraki? Who are the customers that they're looking to be interacting with?
So with Cisco Meraki, they can operate anywhere from a small user office right up to an enterprise level setup. So they scale really well either end of the amount of the users, whether you've got two guys in the shed right up to an enterprise network across multiple geographical locations. They've got a product set that matches each of those sort of businesses.
Okay, just a quick little comment here that we've gotten in the stream here from James Stout asking about stock availability for the MR33. So I would suggest on my end anyway, making sure any queries like that, maybe send an email to solutions@ebuyer.com if you want updates on stock or specific business inquiries like that.
Yeah, we can always look into those and help out.
Okay, and Brian Anderson asking here, is Cisco Meraki, are these subscription-based models? How does that work?
So as part of the Meraki portfolio, you purchase the hardware and then a subscription, and that subscription entitles you to product support, RMA on that product, and the lifetime firmware upgrades. So you buy the product in its state as you get it out of the box, and it's constantly improved and worked upon to add additional features and enhance the security as the life of the product goes on.
Okay, so you're getting that ongoing support then along with
Yeah,
that top quality product.
yeah, you are.
Okay, now I've got a special challenge for you, Mike. Obviously, I'm here live streaming with you, but in a day gone by, I wish to be a quiz host. So I know that you're an expert on Cisco Meraki, and I kind of wanted to be proved to our live stream audience here and the folks watching on demand. So I know there are 17 different models that we have in the MX family. That's correct?
Yes.
Okay, and you're going to be catering to small, medium, large enterprises, all the way down to the two guys in the shed that you mentioned. I've got a little task for you here in the form of a quiz. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you 3 clues, and these are 3 features on one of the models. And seeing that you're an expert, I want to see if you'll be able to correctly identify the model based on my clues alone. How does that sound?
Ooh, that sounds like a challenge, Kevin.
Okay, sounds like a challenge. Time for a lunchtime challenge. If I can get a little bit of a quiz sting there, a bit of quiz music, please, to set us in the right mood for the upcoming challenge. There we go. All right, here we go. It's feeling a little bit like Blockbusters here now. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling the zone. Okay, right. We've got our first challenge here for you. This model supports up to 50 users. This model also offers 600 megabytes per second of firewall throughput. And finally, this model has 10 LAN ports. I want to know, Mike, what's the model? Oh, we ended up right on time there. Very nice.
Ooh, good timing, and I think that would be the MX68 or any variant of such. So the M868C, also with a cellular modem in there. Yeah, no, that's going to be the right one for that sort of specification there.
I like that. You got, not only do you get the correct answer, you got my special bonus credit as well there with the other model there. Very, very impressed there. So, right, Mike, okay, going to have to ask you a quick question about this term you've used, firewall throughput. Now, for me, I'm a millennial, and the old days of the internet, firewall just for me meant that there were certain websites I couldn't access. Firewall throughput, what do we mean when we say that?
Yeah, so what we're looking at when we look at a firewall throughput is the amount of traffic and information that that device can handle. So obviously, as you have a faster connection, that's one thing to be aware of. If you have any really intensive applications or a lot of users, that's another thing that we look at to ensure that the performance of the device, even though it's applying all these security features and the connectivity that it does, we're getting the right sized appliance for your business or your organization.
Okay. Well, look, no time like the present to move on with another challenge. I mean, you've already won me over, but those in the comments, they might need some more convincing still. So we're going to go with some more quiz here now. Another 3 clues to see if Mike can figure out the correct model. I'm confident, but let's see how he gets on. So, this model supports up to 500 users. We're talking for a much bigger company here now. We've got 2 gigabytes per second of the firewall throughput you've just mentioned. And we've got 6 LAN ports. So what's the model going to be, Mike?
Well, that's an awful lot of users there, Kevin. So it'd be a big one. That'll be an MX95, that I would guess.
Okay. MX95. Correct again, Mike. Very impressive. Absolutely smashed it as per usual. And this is something that Cisco can do then. 500 users, you'll be able to provide that protection for that many at once.
Yes, yeah. So as I say, we would always size it based on circumstance, but that's the users that they would recommend on that certain appliance. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, Mike, I want to ask you a little bit about the Sd-Wan systems that we might get with some of those models that we've talked already. I'm not going to lie, I had a bit of a chuckle when I was trying to pronounce that earlier, but could you maybe describe that as it's one of the key features?
Yes, so Sd-Wan is software-defined wide area network, which in simple terms means point-to-point connectivity between perhaps your head office and your branch sites. And that functionality within the MX is a really easy one-click setup. It also allows for certain applications to break out of the device locally. So you're not routing everything back to the head office to go back out at their end, adding a bit of delay to things. You can set these devices up so that the key things you need to access at head office are there. And then anything like Office 365, for example, breaks out of the device locally. Yeah.
Okay, all right. That sounds definitely very, very useful for, a whole wide range of businesses as far as I could tell. I think I'm going to have to test you with one last one. I'm going to warn you now, I've saved the best till last, which I mean I've saved the hardest one for last. So I'm going to give you three more clues, Mike. Let's see how it is you get on with this one. Okay, it's a big one. 2,000 users this model's going to support. I want a staggering 3 gigabytes per second of firewall throughput. And I'm feeling like Jack Bauer. I want 24 LAN ports. What's the model going to be?
So I would say with that amount of users, we would definitely be looking at the MX250.
The MX250. Absolutely correct again. Smashed it. 3 for 3. Good job, Mike.
Excellent.
So tell me a little bit about the range of Cisco Meraki MX products. How could they cater specifically for small, medium, and enterprise level businesses?
Yeah, so the key element to Meraki, and it's always been the case, is the manageability of the products. So regardless of whether you're an IT specialist within a business or whether you don't have that IT specialist and you're trying to run it by yourself, all of the setups and the configurations are really very straightforward to do. They're all backed up by Cisco's best practices in the background. So you tick a box and it applies all those configs that you would see as a best practice effort applied without you having to do any additional work on there. So it's a nice, easy to use system, but it scales really well, which is where we can hit the top end of the enterprise side of large business.
Well, even just from seeing those three products there, the range, the versatility of the range of products itself is very apparent. And thanks for taking part in my quiz. Thank you very much for giving us the insight into the systems and how those businesses can get their hands on one. Don't forget, ebuyer.com is where you want to be checking this out. Just another shout out, folks. Don't forget a shout out here if you are in the chat, if you're watching us live here on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, or you're hitting us up on YouTube, or if you're watching us on demand, don't forget, leave us a comment here. Make sure you like and follow the pages. And don't forget, sharing is caring. Send the link out and about. You never know who you might be helping out by sending them this information while we're talking with the expert, Mike, here today. And we did get another query in here from Brian in the chat. He was just wondering about the subscription. If the subscription stops, does the functionality of the product stop with that, or how does that work if the subscription lapses?
Yeah, so with your subscriptions, it's always assigned to an email address. So what happens is at the end of the term of the license, there is a renewal reminder sent out. There is a bit of a leeway on that to ensure that your services aren't just cut off. If you obviously at the notice period dialogue with ourselves to get the licensing in place, it will continue to work while we apply those. But if you just let that license subside, you do need that there to allow connectivity to the dashboard, allow the support, and allow the firmware updates. So you do need the subscription with the devices. It's not as cutthroat as cutting it off dead on the date, because we do have a little bit of a little bit of a, we're working on it. We're putting forward the subscription into the platform. There is a bit of a leeway on there, but obviously if you do need that subscription for these devices to continue to work. Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, great. Well, thank you very much for clearing that up. Again, any queries, guys, in the chat below, let us know. Yep. And if you've got any queries specifically about stock or any business inquiries, support at ebuyer.com. They'll get you sorted out as soon as possible. I think that's enough of me putting Mike through the paces, even with the great music, as Gareth is pointing out in the comments below. I think that's enough of the tough time for him. I'd like now, maybe if you could, now that we know a little bit about Cisco Meraki, I think it's time for you to maybe show us some demonstrations. I think you've got some demos lined up here. What I've got here for you, Mike, is I've got a couple of scenarios, situations for businesses of those different sizes that we've talked about already that they might find themselves in typically. And you may be able to talk us through with some of your demos how these products and Cisco Meraki might be able to help. If there's any situations that you guys in the comments can think of with your business that you'd like Mike to maybe talk us through, let us know and we can always have a look at it here. But let's start us off here. I've got a simple one. We need to configure VPN access to be able to connect all of our devices. How do I do this?
Yeah, so one of the principles that we want to look at with Meraki is the fact that it's a very easy platform to use. So we can hop over to our demo platform and we can have a look. So as you can see from here, we're looking at our network overview, which we would always see. And if we want to set up a site-to-site connection, or in this case, we'll have a look at the client VPN, we literally select the client VPN box, and this will load up the platform. We would normally see this as disabled. What we would do is we would click on that, click enabled. That gives us all of our details that we need to put into either our Windows machine, our Apple product, or a third-party VPN piece of software. And within there, we basically set up everything that we would need to use. So it sorts out your DNS servers, it sorts out your certification, your security certificates, and basically allows us to really simply add a new user within there. And as soon as we've created that, we can get those users to connect back into that MX device. It's as simple as that.
Okay, that seems really straightforward. And, for a layman like me, it's obviously good to know that something like this is straightforward. And we say, all our devices, that would work across, any device with internet capability, I'm assuming then.
Yes, so it supports the built-in clients of a lot of manufacturers, as we say, Windows, Apple,
Yeah.
And also you do have the availability to use a client piece of software that's freely downloadable and ready to go.
Okay, fantastic. Right. Remember, folks, in the comments below, if you're in a small, medium, large enterprise business, or you're just getting started off, any questions or any demos we can help with, let us know. And Mike, I'm sure, will talk us through. But I think there's one here that I've got. This is a situation that I think, obviously, in the last few years, the way we work has changed an awful lot. And there's a lot more remote users. So I was going to ask you a question about remote workers. They're saying, for instance, that the VPN connection they have has got issues. Would there be a way that you would be able to generate some sort of report or check out about the status of connected users to see how people are doing, even if they're kind of spread out and about?
Yeah, well, you're right there, Kevin, because one of the things that obviously as an IT person or even as a member of management, you'd want to be able to make sure that your staff are connecting and being able to access the resources that they need. So Meraki have conveniently built in a really nice, easy to use single dashboard overview of the VPN status. So we can take a look at that now. When we're in here, we can go on to our security services, and we can go on to our basic monitoring section, which is available for many elements of the network. But we're going to look at the VPN status today. So we can drill down into this platform here, and we can see all of our VPN users and what their connectivity looks like. So we can see that actually, if you're saying, okay, Louis, I've got no internet connectivity, oh, my VPN's not working, we can see it is. And at a glance, we'll see all the devices that are connected. We can also see any issues with regards to slowdowns there. We can see that there's been a few drops highlighted. So it's a really easy to use reporting platform there.
And just as a matter of interest, say if, this was someone saying that, earlier on in the week, I didn't have connectivity. Sorry about that. I wasn't able to tell you. Is there a way that they'd be able to kind of see retrospectively, or is it only a live kind of up to the moment report that you're getting about the connectivity?
Yeah, so what we can do on any of the reports on Meraki is just select this drop-down box here, and we can do the last 30 days, for example. So we'll be able to see a drill down of the connectivity over the last 30 days. Now, obviously, the graphs aren't as accurate, but we can drill into those and basically see where we've been having problems. So again, if you've got a business and you're always having problems with that internet connectivity, you can at least start somewhere with seeing where those problems are starting and when they're happening. So you've got something to work off.
Okay, fantastic. Well, I hate to break it to you. You've got a fan in the comments below, Connor Lee Midgley, saying, "Go, Mike." Obviously very impressed with not just your demo work and your expertise, but your undefeated status as the quiz champion of Ebuyer Live. As far as I'm concerned, you're the one and only here today, Mike. Okay, I've got a final scenario that I want to talk you through. And I may or may not have been someone who has been personally experienced this scenario in previous jobs that I have had. But say, for instance, hypothetically, you're having problems with a hypothetical staff member that may or may not hypothetically have a mustache watching Netflix, and this is slowing down the network or using up a lot of the data, is there a way that we can block or reduce the use of certain sites without having to have the knock on the door and the discussion with the men in grey suits?
This is it, you see, Kevin. So one of the things we want to do with Meraki is add that layer of control there, which is really easy to do. We can block per application, so we'll have a quick look at that now in the demo platform.
So please don't block my Netflix right now. I'm watching something at the moment. Okay, I don't need that.
Well, we'll have a look. We'll have a look. So what we can do is we can see on the security Sd-Wan page, we can log into this section here. And we can go through and we can see our policies, and we can also see traffic shaping rules. So what we can do in here is add a new rule, and then we basically say, right, what we want to do, we can pick from lots of different categories, and these are constantly updated as well as part of that subscription that you get, to enable us to see the sections that we're the most interested in. So we can come down
the most wanted list, I see.
That's it. We can go into our video music section. We can find Netflix in here. And then as soon as we've added that, we can literally set a limit on there of 5 megabits, 2 megabits, 50 megabits. Or we can totally limit that in its entirety if we wish to.
Okay.
So we can also do the opposite. So if we have something that we definitely need to be using, we can change the priority of that software on that application, and that will push it to the top of the queue, and that will obviously receive a better service than the other applications on the network. So we can really easily add rules and definitions.
That's good, because it seems like you don't just have then, it's a case of turning it off or on, because there could be lots of instances where, either if it's break time or something like that, or it could be used for research purposes, that people may still need to use these recreational sites for business. So it's good that you can put limits on it without absolutely cutting it off entirely.
That's it. Well, everyone's got a lunch break, haven't they, Kevin?
Exactly. That's exactly it. Well, Mike, thank you so much. That's absolutely amazing. Thank you for taking us through all of those demonstrations and giving us some insight into some of those specific scenarios that we can find. We still have a little bit of time left here today, folks. So again, I want to shout out everyone in the chat if you are listening live. And don't forget, if you are listening or watching back on video on demand, you can always drop us a comment here and we will get back to you. If there are any scenarios in your business, be it small, medium, or enterprise level, that you want us to go through, now's the time. Let us know in the comments below. And of course, if you are watching on Facebook Live, you're catching us on YouTube, if you're on LinkedIn, or even if you're catching us on Twitter, make sure you give us a like or a follow. And don't forget, sharing this link around is obviously one of the nicest things that you could do for one of your colleagues, because there's great information here today and there are great deals on Ebuyer. So this link might be very, very useful for someone who might need to have their eyes on some of these products. So, Mike, I think we might start closing off here now, unless we've got any other pieces of business to take care of. I want to thank you first and foremost for taking time out of your busy schedule to give us your expertise and to take us through all of these fabulous features from the Cisco Meraki range.
Yeah, and as we say, if anybody wants their own one-to-one demonstration, if they want to have any other questions or want to see if I can get stuck with any questions that you've got to give, then by all means, as I say, reach out to solutions@ebuyer.com and we'll be more than happy to arrange any information or pricing that you might need on anything that we've discussed today.
Yeah, so don't forget, you can reach out at ebuyer.com/Cisco Meraki. That's the website where you will get all the deals, all the products are on there. You'll be able to see that full range, those 17 models with some of the features we discussed and some of those specific models that Mike identified earlier. They're all on there as well. And don't forget as well, any information with regards to inquiries with Mike himself, stuff about stock, pricing, structures like that, you can send us an email to solutions@ebuyer.com. That is solutions@ebuyer.com. But guys, thank you so much for tuning in today to eBuyer Live. And thank you once again, Mike, for your time and your expertise.
No, thank you for having me.
Okay, folks. Well, make sure you keep subscribed here and you make sure you like us on all those social platforms. And thank you, everyone, for joining us for today's live stream. My name's Kevin. It's been a pleasure with you, and we'll catch you next time on eBuyer Live.